Hello and welcome back to Milk It Reviews. Sorry it's been a while since we've had a review put up. I've been insanely busy, but I'm hoping to make up for it for you now. Right, what we've got here, right, is the 5.11 Tactical Taclite 8-inch Coyote Boot. Predominantly it is a desert boot. Right, I was looking for a pair of these, what with the summer coming. I've had them a few months now, right, and they've been worn a lot, and I really mean a lot, virtually every day. Right, they have proven to be superbly comfortable, very hard wearing. I mean, if you look at you don't know exactly how much walking around I've done, but I've done a lot. You take a look at the sole on those, and there's no real signs of wear anywhere. Right, you know, I'm normally heavy on this outer edge of the heel, right, and that is pretty much as it was when it came out of the box. There's a lot of thought gone into making this boot. It's very, very breathable, and everywhere you look you've got this mesh, right. In fact, I mean, you won't see it in this light, but if you shine a flashlight inside, it all shines through the boot, right. It's very, very good, and again, it's hard wearing as well. I mean, when I first got my hands on this, I thought it was going to be soft and flimsy, and it would start snagging. It certainly hasn't managed that yet. Move down onto the lower foot here, right. You've got a heavy duty 1200 denier called Dura nylon in there. Again, it's breathable stuff. The one thing I would stress on these, I mean, as with 99% of desert boots, it is not waterproof, but having said that, they do dry very, very quickly, right, so that is a big bonus. You've got additional air vents down in the side here, right, which again, I mean, I was cycling with these on, and you can actually feel the wind blowing through the boot, right, so it just goes to prove just how well ventilated these are, right. As I say, it is very lightweight. I mean, this is like wearing a pair of high leg training shoes. I mean, they're quite incredible, right. With the lace to toe construction on here, right, you can tighten the boot to fit your foot, right, and they don't move around, right, they're perfectly comfortable, right. The laces that 5.11 have brought out, I said this in a previous review on the trainers, they call them sausage laces, right, because they look like a string of sausages if you look up close, right. But the thing is with these laces, once they're done up, they sort of lock against themselves and they don't come undone. Right, what I can't wait for is when you can actually buy these laces, right, as a separate item, because I've got several pairs of boots and shoes which will definitely have these in them. Standard bow, right, it stays done up, right, I'm very, very impressed. And with these, I mean, sometimes you'll end up with a fair bit of loose slack lace at the end, right. They've even thought of that, because in the top of the tongue here, right, there's a place there where you can tuck those down the back of. Right, moving on to the inside of the boot. Right, you've got so I'm going to pull this out so you can see it. Right, the Taclite antimicrobial footbed in there. These are superbly comfortable. They're waterproof, they're washable. Right, they really do a good job. They're very, very comfortable. Right, I say they're the perfect fit inside the boot. Right, no problems at all with those whatsoever. And again, they're not even, bearing in mind, like I say, you don't know how much walking I've done in these. I've done a lot. Right, and they're still in perfect condition, right. They're quite good, right. Just tuck that back in there, right. They go back in quite easily, right. One thing that you may like, right, is the actual construction of the toe. Although it's not solid, it's fairly stiff, right, but it does allow flexibility in the movement, right. I don't like steel toe cap boots, right, but I don't mind the bit of protection there. Very good. The sole, as you can see, comes up over, right, to the tip of the toe, so you're going to get good protection there, right. Moving yourself round to the heel of the boot, this is a very solid construction round here. It holds your foot in a good position in there. It's not slopping around, right. One thing I have heard people say about 5.11 boots, right, which I've got to say I've never experienced, and you can see this for yourself, about any sort of separation between the upper and the sole. Well, you can see that these are absolutely rock solid. There's no separation there at all, right. I mean, it may have been a problem a few years ago. If it was, they've certainly overcome it. Right, sorry, one natty little extra that you get with these boots, right, and I wondered where it was when I looked at the pictures, but there's a hidden pocket, right, and I'm going to give away 5.11's secret. It's in here, right. I don't know what you keep in there, probably a handcuff key, right, if you had a need for one, right. It's quite small, but it is there, right, and it is fairly deep, so you know, if you've got something you need to keep tucked away, then that's the place to go and tuck it, right. They've used an EVA foam padding all around the top of the boot here, right, and I've got to say it is superbly comfortable, right, and again it breathes well, so you're not getting any sweaty areas where this boot's been. That sounds a bit nasty, but I do suffer from sweaty feet in the hot weather, right, hence desert boots, right, and I've not experienced that problem at all with these, right. Everything's been quite nice, right. The sole, this is something I'm always very, very critical about with any soles. I use a local shopping centre as my testing ground for any new footwear that I've got, because if you've got a wet footpath outside, right, and then you walk straight into the shopping centre with your boots or your shoes are wet, and believe me, right, it turns it into a skating rink. You do not get that problem with these soles. I'm not sure exactly what the compound is. I do get asked questions about who the soles are made by. Well, I'd go as far as saying 5.11, right, because it's got it written on there, you see, it's down there. Right, so it's definitely a pair of 5.11 soles. A lot of people are asking me whether or not the soles are made by Vibram. I don't know. Right, what I can say is I do have footwear with Vibram soles. Right, when I had a very good close look and done a comparison at the request of one of the viewers. They, to me, are every bit as good as Vibram soles. Right, so I wouldn't let that concern you in the slightest. If you're a big Vibram fan, believe me, I've got boots that cost several £100s, right, with Vibram soles on, and they are excellent. Right, so are these. Right, so you know, straight away, right, you're buying something. If it's not made by Vibram, it's as near as damn exactly the same compound. Right, so no concerns over that. I was so impressed with these. I'm going to shoot another video in a minute, because I needed a pair of black high leg boots, and I was so impressed with these, right, the whole construction, that I actually went out and bought the black leather version, right, and I'm going to cover that in a separate review. So if you're interested in both, right, then by all means take a look at the other one. Right, there are a few more reviews to come. Now, unfortunately, I've had a bit of a hectic life at the moment, so I've not had the time to sit down and do them, but please subscribe to the channel, right, you'll get the email updates when the new reviews are posted. Feel free to ask any questions, right, I know some of you have been giving some very positive feedback, thank you very much for that, it is greatly appreciated. Like I say, any questions at all, ask. If I don't know the answer, I'll probably be able to find someone that does. Right, thanks for watching, bye bye.